Hi, fifth graders. I'm going to finish up reading chapter 12 in your history books. So I'm on the middle of page 194 where it says the invention of the printing press. Man with a dream. Johann Gutenberg lived in Germany in the 1400s. Gutenberg was a man with a dream. Many people in Germany were becoming very disinterested in books at this time, but all books had to be written out by hand. Gutenberg wanted to make books available to more people. Most of all, he wanted to find a way to make the Bible available to the multitudes because the more people read the Bible, the more they became convinced that it is true and the only source for Christian belief. Gutenberg's wonderful dream led him to devise the most important invention in the history of the world, the printing press. Movable type. Gutenberg's invention was called the movable type printing press because he made little individual metal letters or type and moved them around to spell out words, sentences, and paragraphs. He arranged the letters in a wooden box, covered them with ink, and used a huge screw to press clean paper against them. After he had printed as many copies as he wanted of one page, he arranged the type and printed another page. In this manner, the same letters were used over and over again, and books could be printed fairly cheaply. The Gutenberg Bible. The first book that Gutenberg printed was a Bible called the Gutenberg Bible in his honor. Soon people all over Europe were printing Bibles and other books. Gutenberg's invention helped prepare the way for one of the most important events in history, the Protestant Reformation. Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation, a young boy in Germany. In 1483, just 27 years after Gutenberg's Bible was printed, Martin Luther was born in Germany. He would do more than perhaps any other person to enable people all over the world to understand the truths of the Word of God. Martin's parents dedicated their son to God and saw that he received a good education. Young Martin Luther learned to read and write in both German and Latin. When he went to the university, Martin Luther studied law. He was very much interested in his soul's salvation. The church of his day taught many things about salvation that really confused him. The church said that a person must do good works in order to be made fit for heaven. Luther stopped studying law and became a monk. Surely this would make him good enough for heaven, he thought. He went without food, prayed long into the night, and lived a life of poverty. Yet still he had no peace for his soul. While studying the Bible as a monk in a Roman Catholic university, Luther came across these words from Romans 1:17, "The just shall live by faith." Here in the Bible was the answer to Luther's longings, not by works, but by faith. He came to Christ and knew that he was saved. Joyfully, he taught his students the new things he was learning from God's words. In 1517, a friar named John Tetzel traveled through Germany selling indulgences from the Pope. Now, indulgences were certificates from the Pope that excused a person from doing penance and shortened the required stay in purgatory. Roman Catholics believed purgatory to be a place of suffering, where the souls of penitent sinners remained after death to be cleansed of sin and made ready for heaven. Tetzel taught further that an indulgence said that a person's sins had been forgiven by the Pope. Martin Luther knew that the sale of indulgences was not taught in the Bible and that only God can forgive sin. It disturbed him to see the German people deceived by Tetzel. 95 Theses. Luther wrote the 95 Theses, which the 95 Theses are a list of reasons why the sale of indulgences is wrong. Luther nailed the 95 Theses to the door of his church in Wittenberg, Germany, on October 31st, 1517, which marked the beginning of the Protestant Reformation. Martin Luther's bravery in challenging the false but very powerful Roman Church would help to change the course of history. His action was called the spark that set Europe aflame. By 1520, he was the most popular man in all of Germany. The Pope and the church leaders tried to get Luther to admit that what he had written was not true, but he would not. "Here I stand," he said. "I can do nothing else, so help me God." He had to hide from the religious leaders for a while. Then he returned to Wittenberg, where he translated the Bible into German. He wrote hymns for the German people and encouraged the German cities to set up schools so the children could be taught to read the Word of God and to be good citizens. Luther encouraged people in other lands to do the same for their countrymen, and soon people in England, Scotland, Switzerland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, the Netherlands, and other countries began to follow the Bible rather than the Pope. The Bible was translated into the languages of the people of these nations, and schools were started to teach the children reading, Bible, arithmetic, history, literature, grammar, and science. The truths of the Bible gave the world greater progress in freedom, good government, widespread education, science, literature, and the fine arts than mankind had ever known before. Isn't that amazing? The impact that the Bible has had on our world, on our country, on our own families. And thanks to people like Martin Luther who fought for it to be easily available, readily available for common people to read and learn and understand. So, I hope you enjoyed that chapter. So long.